what I want to do is just break the difference between love and infatuation, because I think there's some pretty traditional things that come up. Like when we started listing them out, there's just a few that came to mind for me. This person is always on your mind. You tend to want to prioritize making them happy. You notice the little things about them, the little things about the way that you're feeling. You're interested in their interests. You're now basically on board for whatever they've got going on. Their opinion really, really matters, whether it's of you or whether it's of others. And so I think those are kind of like stereotypical, just a handful of stereotypical feelings. But within that, there's a difference between when you're in love and how you interact with those feelings and infatuation. So I think the slipperyest slope of falling in love with somebody is that it's actually just infatuation, and it's not this really deep, profound feeling that we have basically based our whole show off of. And so just for my own input on this question, I'm going to break down a little bit of these feelings from the perspective of love and how that actually differentiates itself from infatuation. So when someone's always on your mind, infatuation might look like you're constantly thinking about them, but it's obsessive thinking. Your thoughts may be consumed by fantasies or idealized images of them, focusing more on maybe the way that they look or the excitement that they bring into your life. Love would be that they're on your mind in a more balanced way. While you think of them often, your thoughts are more grounded and they're actually realistic and practical. You're appreciating their strengths for sure, but you're also, as they're on your mind, thinking about maybe the flaws or maybe some of the challenges that would be in this relationship.
Yeah, that you know that they're not perfect. I think when you're infatuated with someone, you literally think that they're perfect and they can do no wrong. And you might be thinking about them obsessively versus like when you're thinking about a person that you love, you might think about, you know, a small detail or the way that they smile or their laugh. And it almost like brings like a little smile to your face, and you're, it's not like, oh my God, this person is so perfect and they're my number one, and you're writing their name and you're signing your name with their last name. Like that's a little obsessive.
Yeah. If you're like putting yourself in the position of like characters in movies, like, you know, on the front of the Titanic, like holding her over the bow of the boat, like maybe that is where you're at a space of infatuation. Prioritizing their happiness. Okay. Infatuation would look like you're prioritizing their happiness, but it's driven by a desire for validation or reciprocity. So I need to prioritize their happiness in order to validate my own feelings by their reciprocal reply, that they would do that in return for me. And that there's a strong need for the attention that you would get from prioritizing their happiness. There's almost this like anxiousness if they don't respond to the things that you're doing. Love would be a genuine care for the way that they are feeling and whether or not they are experiencing happiness without expecting anything in return. Your concern for their well-being is from a place of selflessness, but you're still content whether they're happy or not, even if it's not directly linked to you. So if they become happy with something that has nothing to do with you, you feel the happiness out of an empathetic state, versus the jealousy or the threat that someone who's infatuated might get if that person became happy due to something that was outside of themselves. Noticing the little things. Infatuation would be, of course, noticing small details, but maybe you start exaggerating or romanticizing those little details. You may be fixated on certain traits, you know, turning them into idealized symbols rather than seeing them as a whole person. So you get obsessed about a body part or obsessed about their job or something like that. And you start to like fantasize your place in that role. Where love is, you appreciate the little things in a more realistic way. You're aware of the quirks and imperfections as well as the attributes and assets that they have. And you find the things that are, you know, maybe quirky or an imperfection, something that's a little bit more endearing, and you don't obsess over the things that you might find attractive. Interested in their interests. Infatuation would be something around their hobbies or passions, become intense and and feel superficial pursuits to achieve approval from them. Where love would be your interests are deeper and more genuine. You see the thing behind the thing in what they are interested in. You find joy in the activities that they're interested in, even if you're not involved. So an infatuation would be, I need to be involved in the things that they're doing in order for me to be a part of this. Where love is like, they're into pickleball, I'm not really into it, but I'm happy to support them in their interests. I'm happy to watch pickleball even though I don't want to play it or whatever, go to the occasional event with you, but I don't have to be a part of this in order for me to experience it.
I think an amendment for that one would be, because you hear about these, just an example, superficial example, like a guy's super into sports and a girl's kind of obsessed with him, and she fakes kind of like being into sports so the guy will think that she's cool. That's not necessarily what we're talking about. I think the amendment is you're open to learning about their interests. It doesn't mean that all of their interests, you have to suddenly be interested in all of those things. It's like, right. Oh, wow, Chase is really interested in philosophy. I'm going to be interested and be open to hearing about these interests. And if something clicks and I'm genuinely interested, cool. If I'm like, well, that's not really for me, but I love supporting him in that or whatever, it's a little different. So just being open to hearing about their interests.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And then the last one that I would mention is just that their opinion matters, which is, I think, obviously an important component to love. But an infatuation environment would be more along the lines of, again, this is a kind of a consistent theme, but like the desire for approval. So their opinion matters if it's contingent upon them like approving you as a partner, where you would feel overly concerned about how they perceive you, and you shape your actions in a way that would fit their opinion. Mm-hmm. And so if you hear them talk about their mother in an endearing way, and then you go, oh my God, I need to be exactly like their mother, even though that goes against everything that you've ever felt as a woman. That's an example of their mm-hmm. opinion matters in an infatuated direction. Where love is that you value their opinion because you respect and trust their perspective, but you consider their thoughts while maintaining your own identity and values. You're comfortable being yourself around them. So like, oh, I love that you have so much respect for your mom. By the way, I don't really subscribe to cleaning your room or, making you dinner every night. I'm interested in a relationship that's got mm-hmm. a shifting of mm-hmm. roles.
Yeah. No, I think those are all good. And I agree. With all of those, I think some of them can also apply to like just general love, like with even like a friend, right? And so I was thinking about like what specifically differentiates like love for a friend or love for a family member with romantic love, like being in love. And so the things that came to my mind was like, even when the times where you feel like you need to be alone, like you need alone time to recharge, you can still do that with your person and it feels just as nourishing. They're not taking anything. Speaking of yin and yang or yin and yang, they're not necessarily taking anything from you. They're adding to the experience and it feels just as nourishing as if you were having alone time. I can't say that with every one of my friends, honestly, that exists, but it always exists.
Sure.
If the choice is being alone or being with you, I like being with you always sounds mm-hmm. great. I think really simple, but do you feel the freedom to be 100% yourself? Like without, and this doesn't mean like you're not willing to grow and change and evolve and work on yourself, but the things that make you unique and different and even weird, are you willing to show those parts of yourself to your person? And how do they respond? Like if I were to laugh uncontrollably or have an embarrassing moment, like how do you respond in that moment? Do you make fun of me? Do you gaslight me? Do you point the finger or make me feel stupid? Or do you laugh along with me? Or like maybe point it out, poke fun, but like we're laughing together kind of situation. Yeah, I think that you should be able to be 100% yourself and not feel like you have to put makeup on your personality in order for your person to be like cool with you. If you can see yourself working through your own shit and your combined shit together with this person, I think that that's a really good sign that you're probably on the track of being in love or loving this person. Relationship, it's like, even when you find the person that you love, that's just the beginning. You know, it's like, I think a really good sign that you've found someone that you can spend a good amount of time with, or even, you know, long term, maybe even marry, be in love with, and continue to feel that love, is that you're both committed to working on your shit together. That's just,
Huge.
it's just absolutely, it's like a core tenet. It's a core value. It's like at the center of our relationship is we both have to be willing to learn and grow and work through our shit together.
It's a huge component of a serious partnership, whether you want to call that marriage or just a committed, deep relationship, is they will be the catalyst for your growth, which means they are oftentimes the tool that sharpens and polishes your diamond, and that can be quite challenging. And so a partner, an important question to ask with any serious romantic partner would be, can I work through my shit with this person? And if not, the question really is, who? You know, because that's not going to leave you. That's not going to be a part of, it's not going to be a part of any relationship that's serious. You can have flings and fun times with people that are short in duration, but eventually your shit's going to pop through, and they're going to need to be able to handle it. You're going to need to be able to talk to it with them. They will be able to, or they should support the space for you to be able to work on it without being triggered or sabotaging the relationship. So yeah, I think that's a huge point. Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed that, check out right over here for some more fun clips.
Oh, and you're going to want to subscribe.
Bye.